Welcome, Roman, and thank you so much for joining us today with the Finjan Show. I'm really honored and excited to see you here. Roman Golshteyn runs a cool company, and can't wait for him to share with you what he does. And also, we're gonna talk a little bit about your background, what you do. As you know, the goal of this show or talk is really to highlight the journey of an entrepreneur that it takes to start and grow a business. And what a great example for us when we have you here today with us. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. So maybe just a quick synopsis, like what did Roman do before starting this business and how did you get here?
Sure. So I was working as a help desk technician for one of a pretty large law firms around here, and left the job, tried to get another job, couldn't. And I felt that, okay, I'm gonna do something on my own, and kind of gave it a shot, and here we are 20 years later.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's a brave move to leave a stable law firm job to venture on your own.
Thank you. It was my parents were not happy. They were not happy at all.
And how long were you in the country for you to make that kind of a big move?
Sure. So we came, my family and I, we came from Russia at the end of 1995, and I was working at the law firm from 2000 to 2004, like end of 2000 to end of 2004, and that's when I left. So I was in the country for just shy of 10 years.
I mean, it's not easy enough to be an immigrant, but yet start a business that makes it, trying to climb double the mountains per se.
That's true. But to be honest with you, I never looked at me being an immigrant as a handicap. I came when I was 13, and had an accent. I still have an accent now. I acknowledge that. But I went to school and college, and it was just part of my identity. I've integrated into the society, or I thought at the time that I integrated into the society. Looking back, it was a very naive thing of me to think compared to how I'm integrated now. But I just never looked at it as a handicap and just went for it.
I love that. I think a lot of people make it a little harder than what it really is. And to your point, if you don't think about it and you just keep going, then it's not a big challenge. But if you keep thinking about it, maybe it becomes a challenge because you're creating it somewhat. Not saying that it doesn't exist, because it does exist to struggle, but you just keep moving forward without taking the time to think about it.
Right. United States is a land of immigrants, and there is I believe at the time that you learn and you work hard. It's made for people that want to learn and work hard. In my opinion, this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
I just kept going.
That's awesome. So what is it that you're doing now? I mean, it's 20 years later. Where's the business today? What's happening?
Sure. So where the business is today is not where it started at all. So the way that I like to describe it, we're an MSP, managed service provider of IT services, computer services. Essentially, we are a computer department to businesses that are not large enough, or for one reason or another choose not to have their own on-site IT department, and so they outsource that work to us. On a daily basis, we pretty much do anything from fielding the help desk calls, printer is not working, or Outlook is not starting, or internet is slow, to more advanced projects. We set up network security, we set up wireless networks for large campuses. We do emails, anything that a large company would want or would rely on their IT department to do. That's what we do for our smaller companies.
Very cool. I didn't think a printer not responding or a Microsoft's jamming could happen to anyone else. Just kidding. I'm sure it's a daily thing for so many times all day long, pretty much. That's
and it happens in the most inopportune time.
Yeah, just right when you need it, right? That's when it happens.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of pressure. So, I'm curious, this entrepreneurial journey, it seems like it's taking you to all kinds of places, and you've probably seen all kinds of businesses. I'm curious, as you went through and starting a business in 2004 might have been a good time, but it sounds like you lived through a couple of, I'm going to call them ups and downs, right, of the economy. And I'd love to hear your thoughts of what maybe was one of your low, hits that you might have gone through, and how did you overcome it?
So yes, it's a really good question. So in order to answer it properly, I just gotta share with you how the business started. So today we're focusing on small businesses, but when I started the company, and the name of the company is The Computer Guy, when I started the company, I was thinking, it was focusing, the focus was for residential consumers. So when I was trying to name the company, I was thinking, what would be the most easiest name for people to remember when they're thinking about me? That was like The Computer Guy. So I started as the computer guy, fixing computers at people's homes, because I at the time I figured that 90% of the computers could be fixed on site at people's homes, so they don't have to take the computer apart, take it to the store, leave it there with God knows who for days, maybe weeks at a time, and then when it's fixed, then they have to take it back home, get under their desk and hook it all. Like, people don't want to do that. And at the time, we already started to have the tools where we could fix majority of the problems at people's homes. So I was, like a plumber, electrician, the computer guy. So that was me. I did not start focusing on the business, on small businesses, until much later, until about 2011. I started from nothing, like zero. So when I decided that I'm going to do my own business, I had 0 clients. All I had was a little bit of money, and I had Microsoft Publisher. I created the flyer and printed out those flyers and started to pass them around in different bulletin boards. So my growth was very, 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 very slow. But over the years, I started to, I would do good work, and I would fix a computer of a person who owned a small business. And then they would be like, oh, well, we have some computers at the business. Why don't you come and take a look at them? So little by little, I started to get small business clients. And it wasn't until 2011, 2012 that I actually decided to make a conscious pivot and just focus on them, just on small businesses. So the reason why it's important to mention is during the economic downturn that we had in 2008, 2009, I was really not focusing on businesses. I was focusing on residential, on home, on residential consumers. So it did not, and I didn't have that many, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, but I did not see that as a big downside for me, because there was really nowhere to fall. It was pretty low. I mean, I guess I can say I was stable. And something that really resonated with me at the time, I was fairly young. I had customers that were going through foreclosures, and that were, they lost their jobs and they couldn't pay their bills, couldn't pay their home. They could have been upside down, whatever, but they're in the process of losing their homes. But yet they still had to rely on my expertise to go and fix their computer, so that they could look for a job and apply for, and try to get a job and fill out the resumes and applications and things along that nature. I would say that the low point, just to answer your question, the low point for me was in the very beginning, and it was a perpetual low point of trying to get and like not getting it, trying to grow and like not being able to grow. The lowest point in my time came when my parents chose a perfect time to communicate to me about my choice of the career, and they chose to do that on my birthday. The whole family was around, so they were like, they were not very excited about me leaving a stable job um, to do this. So they kind of like unloaded on me, and I could take it until I couldn't take it. But so it was like it was pretty low. I still recall it now. If they listen to this podcast, I'm not. It's a part of. I'm not blaming them for anything. I'm actually really excited that they did that because it just fired me up, and I was like, aha! Well, now I'm really not gonna quit. Now I'm really gonna go for it. So I know it was a long answer, but
That's okay. I mean, honestly, I always tell people the parents never want to hurt. They always want to promote. So anything that they do is out of love and fear, and they do it based on what they know and what they think is the best for you based on their knowledge. Then
yeah,
it's your knowledge or the new environment that we're in today. But it's it's out of good heart. So I'm sure I'm sure it's a
100%.
fun conversation today. But back then it probably felt like, whoa.
They wanted what was best.
If you don't mind, we're gonna take a short break and we'll come back. I mean, obviously we can keep you here all day, clearly, and we'll never be done. There's just so much to unfold here, but let's take a short break and be right back.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Thank you. Welcome back. So this is fascinating. So you're getting, which is I think typical, Ramon, right? To a lot of entrepreneurs that you start the business and the family might not be as supportive because they're not having this, most people view it as a stable, although we all know that, especially after COVID, there was nothing stable about any job. So, you created your own basically career and pathway, and now you're able to provide for other people to work there. And that shift, I'm curious, when you made that shift to go intentionally, to go from personal to business, what was like some of the struggle that you had to overcome? I mean, it sounds like in the beginning you had to overcome the struggle of knocking on a lot of doors to get one, but now it might be a different struggle, I'm assuming, but I don't know. Or maybe a highlight, maybe something that really just opened up and was like, whoa, this is really a big highlight for me in my career owning this business. Either one.
Yeah, good question. So one of the reasons why I made the choice to focus on businesses as opposed to residential is because of the quality of service and the expectations of what business wants from their IT company. Where at home, yes, you want your computer to work, but it's not critical. It's like, okay, whatever, you can't fix it, we'll buy a new one. Oh, it's not working. I have my phone, I can go and check my email. For business, it's different. For business, they can't function. They can't function without their technology. So the expectation of having a resource of a company like my company to be there for them and to help them out really, really excited me. It really resonated with the values that I have for my business. However, what also comes with it is a lot of responsibility. When the company starts to rely on you, then they really rely on you, and being there for them and coming up with solutions to their everyday problems was, even though it was interesting and exciting, it also carries a lot of responsibility that sometimes sits there and it's not going away.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, honestly, we could keep unfolding this for days, but I know I try to stick within 10 minutes or so talking to these amazing entrepreneurs, and hopefully other people will connect with you to learn from you and follow your path per se. So what would be one of your biggest highlight for your business so far? And I'd love to also hear, if you want to take this opportunity to mention it, like what did you do during COVID as well? So it's kind of like two things, because I know '08 was one challenge, COVID was different challenge, but yet it's another challenge. But maybe it was your highlight. I don't know. So a highlight and how you dealt with COVID.
Right. So when COVID hit, nobody knew what is going on. Are we going to be in business tomorrow? Our clients are closing up, like a lot of uncertainty. Thankfully, we are not focused in any type of segment or an industry. We have a lot of healthcare clients. We have a lot of general business, some manufacturing, even schools that we support. So when all the healthcare pretty much shut down, and you have an owner of a thriving practice that has other 3-4 doctors where they see 150 to 200 patients a day, is pretty much shut down, and you have that owner checking people in and seeing them, right? So it's very scary. But thankfully, our other clients continued to operate. They were listening, they were following our recommendations throughout the past several years, and we were able to leverage those recommendations to help them work from home seamlessly. So we were extremely busy in the beginning to get everybody who could work from home. And so myself, my guys and me, we were also were working from home. And I would say that the ultimate highlight is the team of TCG, the team of the computer guy. Everybody was working tirelessly. Everybody was working crazy hours during the area of a lot of uncertainty, with people having personal struggles of, again, uncertainty, what's happening with the world, and their partners losing or losing jobs, being furloughed, laid off, whatever. So there was a lot of personal things that were happening, but the team really stepped up, and as a result, we were able to continue to provide really good quality of service, and we actually gained some customers as a result of that. So I cannot highlight my team enough, and I'm just so thankful and proud to be on the team with them.
Wow, thank you so much. I mean, that's usually to people, it's usually a reflection of the per se, or the reflection of you and how you treat your people and how you work with them. So congratulations, and thank you so much for sharing such a wonderful highlight. Roman, we could keep you here all day, all night, unfolding all of these stories. But I wanted to just maybe ask the last question. If you were to advise an aspiring entrepreneur today, what would you say to them?
Gotcha. So it's a really good question. If you're in business, you're selling something, right? You're selling your services, you're selling your expertise, whatever. So you're selling something. So there's got to be a sales component that's involved. And when I had 0 computers to fix, and I was trying to get to fix computers, what was going through my mind was that work constituted 2 things: either being in somebody's home fixing computers, or doing whatever I have to do to get into somebody's home to fix computers. And the reason why I think this is important is because there are a lot of distractions, especially when you don't have work to do. So we inadvertently find things that we look at as work, but they're not really work that help us get to where we need to get. So keeping that focus so that work is either me fixing somebody's computer or getting, and that's like printing out my flyers, going, passing them around, meeting people, hustling, however you want to describe it. So, and that was the funnel that I took different actions through. Anyway, so I hope this helps.
That's very powerful, actually. So staying focused, at the end of the day, if there's no sale transaction happening, there's really no business. And if you're not performing some kind of work, there's no work to be done. So
Right.
That's very powerful. I think that's a great insight for a lot of people, because it's easy to get distracted of, my flyer is not as pretty as I want it to be. And you're like, I just need to get this flyers out. I got to be talking to people. That's very powerful message. Thank you so much for sharing that. Clearly, would love to have you again to kind of keep unfolding all these things. And thank you so much for making that time. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Faris.